Since President Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20, 2025, and embarking on his second term, he has been introducing significant economic policies that could reshape the financial landscape for American taxpayers. Central to these discussions are potential reforms to income taxation, the prospect of new stimulus checks, redefining the American economy through aggressive deregulation, trade policies, and government restructuring. This video discusses how President Donald Trump intends to implement these changes to the American people. Will these changes work? How will these changes affect the American economy? How will the changes affect you and me? To answer all these questions, stick with me up to the end of the video. Also, consider subscribing to this channel, commenting, liking, or sharing for more of this and how to prepare yourself for eventualities and the monetary well-being of yourself and your family. First off is doing away with income taxation. In his address to the nation, President Donald Trump said, "Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens." He further referenced the historical context of the U.S. economy between 1870 and 1913, a period before the introduction of the federal income tax, suggesting that returning to a tariff-based system could replicate past economic prosperity. This proposal aims to shift the tax burden from American citizens to foreign entities through increased tariffs. At first, I thought Trump was just bluffing. However, this is not quite the case. Recent legislative efforts include the No Tax on Overtime proposal, which aims to exempt federal taxation on overtime pay, allowing workers to retain more of their earnings from extra hours worked. This proposal is part of a broader budget plan passed by House Republicans and reflects President Trump's campaign promises to reduce tax burdens on American workers. Another of Trump's controversies is dishing out stimulus checks. Who would forget the 3 rounds of checks that we got from Trump's first term in office? The first stimulus check was in April 2020. This was part of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security (CARES Act), signed into law in March 2020. Eligible individuals receive payments of up to $1,200, with an additional $500 per qualifying child. These payments were designed to provide immediate financial relief to individuals and families affected by the pandemic. The second stimulus check was in December 2020. The stimulus payments were authorized, providing up to $600 per eligible individual, plus an additional $600 per qualifying child. This measure aimed to continue supporting Americans as the pandemic persisted. A third round of stimulus checks, amounting to $1,400 per eligible individual, was distributed under the American Rescue Plan Act in March 2021 during President Joe Biden's administration, as what many people believe was a continuation of what Trump had started. The good thing is that Trump is back and has promised to give out money the same way he did during his first term in office. And this time, he has proposed to give Americans a whopping $5,000 in free money. To streamline government spending, President Trump appointed Elon Musk to lead the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. One notable proposal from this initiative is the DOGE dividend, which suggests distributing 20% of identified government savings back to taxpayers in the form of $5,000 stimulus checks. While this proposal has generated public interest, it remains under consideration and has not yet been approved. Congressional approval is required for such payments, and deliberations are ongoing. Next on Trump's agenda is aggressive deregulation. You might ask yourself, what is this? It simply means removing or reducing government rules and regulations that businesses must follow. The goal is to make it easier for companies to operate, particularly in industries like energy, manufacturing, and finance. For example, environmental regulations might be loosened to encourage more drilling for oil and natural gas. Number 4 is trade policies. I have discussed this in another of my videos where President Trump has proposed eliminating income tax and replacing it with tariffs. You might want to watch this video. Trump is pushing for stronger tariffs on imports from China and Mexico, seeking to incentivize domestic manufacturing while renegotiating trade agreements that he deems unfavorable. He is focusing on renegotiating trade deals and increasing tariffs, which are taxes on imports, to encourage domestic production. For instance, he has proposed higher tariffs on goods from China and Mexico to make American-made products more competitive. Finally, the other economic change that Trump is doing differently is government restructuring. This simply means changing how federal agencies operate, including budget cuts and organizational changes. It could mean reducing the size of government departments, merging agencies, or cutting funding for certain programs to improve efficiency and reduce spending. While President Trump's second-term initiatives aim to reshape the financial landscape for American taxpayers, their long-term success remains uncertain. For example, reducing federal income taxes and replacing lost revenue with higher tariffs may result in more take-home pay for workers and a lower tax burden, but it may also lead to inflation, higher prices on imported goods, and potential cuts to government programs if tariffs fail to generate sufficient revenue. A proposed $5,000 DOGE dividend stimulus check could provide short-term financial relief and boost consumer spending. However, the sustainability of such payments remains in question, as repeated stimulus checks could contribute to long-term debt and inflationary pressures. Deregulation efforts aim to stimulate business growth by reducing compliance costs in industries like energy and manufacturing. While this approach may create more jobs and foster industrial expansion, it also raises concerns about environmental risks and weakened worker protections. Higher tariffs aim to protect American jobs and domestic manufacturing and encourage job growth, but it also risks raising consumer prices and triggering retaliatory tariffs from other nations, which could hurt U.S. exports and trade relationships. Government restructuring plans involve cutting federal agencies and reducing social programs to decrease national debt and streamline government operations. While this could lead to a more efficient government and lower federal spending, it may also result in reduced funding for healthcare, education, and other essential services, impacting lower-income Americans the most. The overall effectiveness of these policies will depend on their implementation and economic response. While they may boost economic growth and reduce taxes in the short term, they also carry risks such as increased national debt, inflation, and reduced access to public services. The long-term impact on American households and the broader economy will require close monitoring to assess whether the benefits outweigh the potential drawbacks. No matter what direction President Trump's policies take us, the goal is for us to be financially savvy and be able to navigate our financial world and better ourselves and our families. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment, like, or subscribe for more of the same.